Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise to speak against the pending motion and in support of the bill that I sponsored. Now, I think we all know how this vote will go, and the likelihood that minds and, more importantly, hearts will be changed is very slim. That being said, I do appreciate the opportunity to speak and hope that you will listen and at least consider what I have to say. I was born in 1973. Now, you would expect me to be long-winded and go into my life story, but no worries, I won't do that to you. 1973 was the year of Roe v. Wade. In my lifetime, I have only known legalized abortion. With the ruling of Roe v. Wade, it was thought that abortion would finally be legal, safe, and rare. Abortion is indeed legal. That is a fact. However, this legality does not happen in a void of consumer protection. Many states require that doctors perform abortions. Many require abortion to be performed before viability. Some require information on the risks of an abortion be given to the patient, and some have waiting periods prior to abortion. All of these consumer protections have been deemed legal and constitutional by the Supreme Court. Safe. One could argue that abortion is safer than it used to be. To be honest, you would think that this day and age, with our medical advances and what is suggested by abortion advocates, that having an abortion is a minor procedure and totally safe. We only need to look at the recent Gosnell case and this man's shop of horrors to understand that legalized abortion does not guarantee safety. Common sense consumer protection must be in place, even in this era of legalized abortion. I contend that abortion is not rare. Since Roe v. Wade, approximately 54 million abortions have taken place in the United States. In Maine alone, over 2,000 abortions occur yearly. Americans are just about evenly split on this issue. According to recent Gallup polling, 45% call themselves pro-choice, and 48% of Americans consider themselves to be pro-life. This bill, LD 760, would strengthen Maine's law for informed consent for abortion. Maine has stronger protections in its statutes for informed consent for breast cancer, including a mandated brochure given to the patient, and that information be given to her orally and in writing. Why is it that a woman deserves full disclosure of information for one women's health issue, but not the other? A woman testified before the Judiciary Committee last session on her experience at a local clinic when an ultrasound was taken, and she asked to see it. She was denied. This is, to me, the most important part of LD 760. This would not mandate ultrasounds be done. This would not mandate ultrasounds be viewed. LD 760 merely provides for a patient to be able to see her own ultrasound if one is taken, and she asks to see it. I was willing to give up everything in this bill except for this one piece, but the majority members of the Judiciary Committee did not work the bill nor even discuss it. The majority members made it clear they were not willing to work the bill at all. To show my sincerity and how important this piece of the bill is, I have an amendment drafted to delete all of the bill except this one piece. This bill is all about right to know. We in this body have submitted bills like GMO labeling, cell phone warning labels, vaccine right to know, and BPA labeling right to know, all aimed at consumer protections and consumers' right to know. It is clear to me now that ideology dictates that right to know is not allowed in the realm of abortion. Due to this ideology, some members of this body are afraid that if we adopt consumer and patient protections in other areas like Lyme disease, then we are on a sure path to outlawing abortion. Really? Mr. Speaker, I argue that the great debate tactic of a slippery slope argument holds no water here. The argument used in this body recently of, we don't want women to have all the information prior to an abortion, so we better make sure that patients with other diseases or conditions don't have it either. It's so far-reaching, just think of its impact. Because of reproductive rights, we better not label GMOs, forget about vaccine labeling, and perhaps an effort will be underway to repeal the law regarding informed consent for breast cancer. I ask you to consider this bill on its own merits. Vote down the ought not to pass, and I ask you to consider other consumer and patient protections on their own merits. If you can't vote for this bill because of your ideology, I accept that. But don't use it as an excuse not to vote for other common sense consumer protection measures. I am so sorry that certain bills have gotten linked together. I feel as though it's my fault because the debate in favor of one sounded like the same reasons for passing the other, this debate of right to know. I am saddened to see a member of this body and all the patients that she hoped to help disregarded, all in the name of so-called reproductive rights. Please look at these issues on a bill-by-bill basis. I accept our difference of opinion on this matter, and I beg of you to vote your conscience on this bill separate of any other legislation. Please vote down the current motion so that if a woman has an ultrasound and she asks to see it, she cannot be denied. That is all that this would do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I ask for a roll call.